Welcome back to Scale Up Adventures and welcome to another how-to video. And in today's video we'll be talking about fishing rigs. Now, not just any fishing rig, we'll be going through step by step on how to tie and what's so important about the running sinker rig. Now you may ask, what is a running sinker rig? It's basically a rig that consists of a sinker that will run freely on your fishing line. Now the running sinker rig would have to be the most popular fishing rig out there, and there's a good reason for that. It's extremely effective, presents your bait in a natural manner, and helps you obviously catch more fish. So a running sinker rig, let's go through it. So basically what we have is your main fishing line, where you would have a sinker of your choice running freely onto a swivel, and then onto a trace and onto a hook. So your trace will vary depending on what fish you're targeting. Now if you're targeting a whiting, for example, or brim that's very finicky and very shy, you would go a nice long leader. In strong current, where you don't want to get tangles and line twist, you'll probably reduce the length of your leader. Now the reason why a running sinker rig works so well is, if you can just imagine you've cast out to the riverbed or out in the ocean and your bait is presented on the seafloor like so. With your sinker on the seafloor, fish comes along, grabs your bait and takes off with it. Now that line's going to run through that center of that sinker with no resistance whatsoever. It allows the fish to think that that bait is a natural bait, nothing's wrong with it, there's no tension on that line, and hopefully by the time it realizes that there's a hook in its mouth, it's too late, you've striked and you've caught it. Now if you can imagine a fish is picked up and has had to carry the weight of that sinker along the riverbed, for example, it's going to know something's up potentially and spit that bait out. So the running sinker rig is extremely effective in presenting your bait in a natural manner. Now there are many variations on the running sinker rig. We just spoke about one there where we have a swivel and then a trace. There's also a restricted running sinker rig where you would have your sinker in between two swivels, like here. It's a bit hard to show you on this camera, but we basically have a swivel either end and your sinker is restricted between those 2 points. Now I love using this rig for tailor off the beach. Having that extra swivel in all that water movement means that it helps reduce the amount of line twist that you're going to get. Things like tailor or most fish on the beach don't mind if they pick up a sinker, because they're in really turbulent water, they grab the bait and they take off. They're not as shy as, say, somewhere in an estuary or a lake, for example. A third option is where you have your sinker running straight down onto your hook. This is also a running sinker rig, and these are great for really snaggy areas. You're fishing off the rocks or you're fishing in deep in reef. Having that sinker straight onto your hook just means it reduces the chance of you getting snagged. There's only one point, basically one contact point where it could get snagged, where a traditional running sinker rig, that sinker can get snagged, your hook can get snagged. It's twice as likely that you're going to get snagged. So by having the sinker straight onto your hook, it helps reduce that. And again, when the fish takes it, thinking that the sinker's right there, when the fish takes it, it's going to take off without the sinker and not feel that resistance there, hopefully. Now as far as sinkers that you can use on a running sinker rig, basically any sinker with a hole through the middle of it you can use. So ball sinkers are probably the most popular, and always try and use a sinker that's as small as that you can get away with. So if you're fishing in really fast flowing water, obviously you need to use a bigger sinker, but always try and use as small a sinker as you can get away with. Other sinker styles are your bean sinkers, your barrel sinkers, and even something like a pyramid sinker you could use. So with a bean sinker, they're really, I like to use them in sort of faster flowing water, as these won't roll around as easily as a ball sinker would. It just means your bait's presented in the correct spot for a little bit longer. And obviously as you go to a pyramid sinker, that's even more aggressive in its grip, so that won't basically move at all off the seabed. So that's it basically, guys. That's your running sinker rig. As you can see, there's nothing really to it. So practice it, make sure you use it, and I suppose the key is to use a long trace and as small a sinker as you can get away with, and hopefully you'll be able to fool those fish and take some home for a feed. Well, I hope you all found this helpful, guys, and thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.